Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, you're welcome to Sew with Mediva. And if you're a returning subscriber or a returning viewer, thank you for sticking to my channel. So in today's video, I'll be showing you guys how to make this statement organza ruffle top. And guys, this video is very detailed, very easy to follow, and very beginners friendly. And this top is very simple to make. It is very simple. This is the type of top you wear to an event and everybody will be looking at you, like all eyes will be on you. So if this is something you're interested in, keep watching and make sure you watch till the end. And when you watch this video, if you find it useful, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, share this video with your loved ones, and also put on your notification bell so that when I post new videos, you get notified to watch them. So for this top, I made use of 2 yards of organza fabric, and I have my tape roll, my scissors here, but we won't be cutting on the fabric directly because the fabric is not stable. It will just be moving. I won't be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to draft it on the pattern paper first before we transfer to the fabric. So on the pattern paper, I'm gonna head to mark my basic vertical measurement, and paper is in a fold of 2. So go ahead to place your tape roll on your shoulder line. So mark from your shoulder to your bust point. Mine is 11 inches. Mark from your shoulder to your waistline. Mine is 16 inches. And then to the full length of your top. Mine is 23 inches. And then go ahead to label the lines to avoid confusion. So come over to the shoulder line and place your shoulder to shoulder measurement divided by 2. So mine is 8 inches, and I'll go ahead to mark it there. And then from that point, go ahead to place your round armhole measurements divided by 2. So mine is 9 inches, so I took out 1 inch from it because it's a sleeveless top. So go ahead to take out 1 inch from yours and further extend the lines this way. So after doing that, the next thing is to mark the neckline. So the width of the neckline is 4.5 inches. You can do 5 inches because this top is not going to have any zipper at the back. So you want the neckline to be really wide. And then the depth of the front neckline is 4 inches and the depth of the back neckline is 1.5 inches. So you can do it this way, or you can just decide to increase yours depending on what you want for yourself. So go ahead to connect the lines this way, and this is what we have. So the next thing to do now is to take the shoulder slope. So come over to this line and come down by 1 inch, and then use your ruler to connect it down to meet the neckline width. And then on this line, take the midpoint of this line. So mine is 3.5 inches. And then on this new line you drew, mark your round bust measurements divided by 4 plus 1 inch for seam allowance. So I'm going to have 11.5 inches there. So I'll take my curved ruler now and form the back armhole first. So this is the back armhole that we are forming now. And then after doing that, we'll form the front armhole. So come over to this center point and come out by 0.5 inches. And then go ahead to connect the points together to form the front armhole. So after doing that, this is what we have. The next thing we want to do is to place the round body measurements. So on the bust line, place your round bust measurements divided by 4. Add 1 inch for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance. The seam allowance is because we don't have any zipper on this top. So on the waistline, place your round waist measurement divided by 4, 1 inch for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance. Go ahead to do the same thing. Place your hip measurement on this hip line, divide it by 4 and add 1 inch for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance. And then go ahead to connect. So go ahead to connect the points together. So this is basically all for the pattern. So let's go ahead to cut it out. So I'm going to cut out the back pattern first. I'll use to cut on my fabric before I cut out the front. So you can see I'm taking the back armhole first, and then I'll take the back neckline. So I folded the fabric into 2 and I'm just pinning my pattern paper to it before I cut it out. So after you've pinned down the pattern to the fabric, go ahead to cut it out. So pinning it is going to help your fabric stay put while you are cutting. So I added half an inch to the shoulder area for joining, and this is what it looks like. So I'll go ahead now to remove the pins from the I used to hold it together. And this is the back panel. So I'll set this aside while we modify the pattern to cut out the front panel. So I'll cut out the front neckline and also cut out the armhole area. So let's go ahead to use this now to cut on the fabric. So this is me using the pattern to cut out my fabric. So after I cut out both the back and the front panels, this is what we have. So I'm gonna head to iron the organza fabric because you don't want your fabric looking rough while you are working. It's not going to give you the accurate thing. So I'm going to start with the back panel, and the first one I want to do is to open up the back neckline. Remember, we won't be having any zipper at the back, so for ease of wearing, we're going to come down by 5 inches from the back neckline. So come down by 5 inches or 6 inches and then go ahead to open up that place. So after opening up, you should have something that looks like this at the back. So I'm going to pipe this part of the neckline and I'll show you guys how to do that. So this is the fabric I'll be using to pipe that part of the neckline. I'm going to place it on it this way on the right side and go ahead to stitch it up. You can open it up this way, use half an inch to join it to it all the way down and turn it over to the wrong side and stitch it down. So let's move over to the front part of this top, which is the main part of this tutorial. So go ahead to open up your front panel this way, and the first thing we want to do is to determine where we want our rows to stop. So I'm going to come over to the shoulder line and come down by 9 inches. So I'll go to the center point of the top and come down by 9 inches. So you can do 10 inches depending on how wide the fabric you're going to use to form your rose is. So the fabric I'm going to use to form the rose is going to be about 4 inches in width. So you see that the rose is going to stop just a bit above my neckline. So from that 9 inches point, I'm going to come down by 4 inches. This is going to be the midpoint of the rose. So just follow closely what I'm doing here, and then whatever I have in between these 2 points, I'm going to come down again by 4 inches. Since I have 4 inches there, so that it's going to be equal, I'll come down again by 4 inches. So this is going to be the lower part of the rose. So what I'm going to do is that from this center point, I'm going to start forming a spiral. So just as if you're trying to draft a flounce. So I'm going to start forming a spiral this way, and I'll make sure that in between each spiral the is equal, like the spacing between them is equal. So just do this way. Just go ahead to form it all the way around it this way, and making sure your spiral is going to stop on that 9 inches mark. I hope you guys understand. So the highest part of your spiral is going to pass through the 9 inches point and the part you came down. I hope you guys understand. So this is where my spiral is going to stop on that 9 inches point. So this is what we have. So right now I'm going to go ahead to cut out my fabric. So my fabric is going to be about 4 inches high. So my rose is going to stop just above my neckline, and then it's going to be on the lower part 4 inches below that spiral. So let's go ahead now to cut out the fabric we'll be using for the rose. So I've gone ahead to cut out the fabric I'll be using to form the spiral, and the height of the fabric I mean is 9 inches. So by the time I fold it into two, I'm going to be left with 4 inches. So I'm going to fold it into two this way and then use half an inch to join it all the way down. So the length of the fabric I have here is 60 inches, but I made use of 120 inches for to form the spiral completely. So I'll close it up and turn it to the other side, and then I'll show you guys how to attach it to the front panel. So after I closed up the fabric and turned over to the right side, this is what it looks like, and I've ironed it out and finished up the edges. So I'll get my front panel now, and then starting from the point where you ended your circle, go ahead to place your fabric on it this way. Start from the point where you ended your circle, not where you started your circle from. This is very, very important. And then go ahead to start stitching this fabric on it this way, and as you're stitching it, you are forming pleats. So you just be stitching and forming small pleats this way while you are joining to your front panel. So if you start stitching from the point where you ended your circle, it is going to keep going around into the spiral. So let me show you guys how to do that on the sewing machine. So this is me on the sewing machine. I'm going to place the front panel under it this way, and then I'll get the fabric I'm going to use to form my row. So from the point where my circle ended, I'm going to start stitching down that fabric to it. I'm going to start stitching from that point, and then as I'm stitching down, I'm going to be forming pleats. This is just to give the rose a fuller look. So I'm going to just keep pleating the fabric on it this way while I'm joining it together. So just watch closely what I'm doing here. So as you are stitching down the fabric, it is going into the spiral. That is why it is important to start from the point where you ended your circle. So I'll just keep pleating it while I'm stitching it down all the way into the spiral this way. You just form small pleats on it while you stitch it down all the way into the spiral. So I'll keep doing this and I'll show you guys as it progresses. So this is how far I have gone with forming the rows at the center of the front panel, and as I'm stitching, the fabric keeps going inside the spiral. So I'm going to do this now till I get to the center point, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. So after I was done forming the rose design in front, this is what it looks like. So you can see how beautiful it looks. And I used my hand needle to just stitch down the center point so that it won't be all over the place. And another thing I noticed was that my rose was fuller on one side than the other. So I had to improvise and just use the fabric to form another rose on this side so that it balances. So the rose is directly on the center of the top. So the next one we want to do is to join the front and the back panels together. So I'm going to place my back panel on it this way. And before I do that, I'm going to finish up this opening at the back neckline, just like I explained earlier. I used my fabric to just turn it over. The fabric is 1.5 inches wide. I'll stitch it down on the right side and then turn it over to the wrong side and also fold it in. And then when I'm done, I'll take half an inch on the shoulder areas and then I'll show you guys the next thing. So guys, after I closed up the shoulder area, this is what we have. So because of the kind of fabric I'm using, if you don't have an overlocking machine, go ahead to fold in the seam. So I folded the seam in twice and stitched it down so that when you wear your top, it's not going to be itchy on the body. I folded it in and stitched it down. Then I've also piped the armhole area. I just used my bias strip method to just turn it over and stitch it down. I've stitched the neckline opening at the back as well. So let me show you guys how to pipe the neckline for the neckline. So go ahead to fold in the edge of the fabric you are using for the piping and then place it on the right side of the top this way. So go ahead to stitch it all the way around it using half an inch. So stitch it all the way around it using half an inch. So this is just like the bias strip method to finish up your neckline. So go ahead to turn it, stitch it all the way around, and when you're done stitching, notch the neckline area and then turn it over to the wrong side and fold the fabric in twice and stitch it all the way around it. So when I'm done with that, I'm also going to close up the sides using my 1 inch seam allowance. I'm going to place them right sides facing each other and close it up using the 1 inch seam allowance on both sides. And I'll also finish up the base of the top and show you guys what it looks like. So after I closed up the sides of the top, this is what it looks like, and I also went ahead to fold in the base of my top. So like I did for the shoulder seam, I also folded in the side seam after I was done. So this is very important because if you don't do this, your top is going to be itchy on your body where you when you wear it. So I folded in twice and stitch it towards the back after I closed up the side. So this is what it looks like on the inside. I gave it in its finishing. So this is where we end this video for today, guys. I hope you found it useful and I hope you learned something new. So I also fixed in the eyelets at the back for my button. So I'm going to fix the button on the other side and just close it up this way when I wear my top. So I hope you found this video useful, guys. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.